know how Pakistan makes motorcycle rear sprockets? They only use some scrapped steel plates. Through machine processing in the 1980s and 1990s, very good quality sprockets can be sold, and a rear sprocket costs only 2,000 rupees. This is a manufacturing plant in Karachi, Pakistan. The main raw materials are these scrapped steel plates. They are purchased at very low prices and then maximized. This is the secret of Pakistan's waste into treasure. The steel plates that have been cut are placed on the pressurizing operation table. The rear sprocket is round. It is disassembled into steel plates. There is definitely no problem with strength. After the pressing is completed, the master will sort out these materials. The ones that can be used will be thrown away directly on the spot, because some parts of these scrapped steel plates are deformed and cracked. The cracks will be more obvious after stamping. This process is equivalent to the quality of the material. The round material is then inserted into the fixed groove. The center of the material is stamped again by the stamping machine. When the rear sprocket of the motorcycle is installed, the center must pass through the fixed axis. Only then can the rear chainring be installed on the rear wheel. The whole is repressurized. The service life of the chainring is not determined by the solidity, but by the plate of the chainring. Therefore, the 4 holes above cannot affect its strength. The surface after pressing is very fine. The master also needs to polish the rough characters on it. After polishing, fix the chainring on the lathe. The edge of the hand is turned flat and smooth. It only takes 30 seconds to process a chainring. At this time, the rough processed chainring is inserted into the upper part of the shaft. The chainring is pressed with an oversized nut. It is the upper plate of the chainring. The teeth will be processed by the gear hobbing machine. It is definitely a waste of time to process one at a time. Fu simply processes 20 at a time, because high temperature will be generated during the gear hobbing process. In order to avoid damage to the cutter head and heat, the cutting fluid is also needed during the process. The chainring is slowly pushed back and forth through the rotation of the gear hobbing. At this time, the processing time of a set of chainrings is at least 1 hour, which is also the reason why the factory can only produce 1,000 pieces a day. This gear hobbing machine is a semi-automatic drawing machine. No manual intervention is required during processing. You just need to wait patiently for the processing to be completed. It is similar to the assembly line. Then use a brush to clean the scraps. The purpose of doing this is to avoid stone jumping during processing. If there is a fault, this set of tooth discs will be scrapped. These scraps will also be collected. After melting at high temperature, the glue column can be sanded. After the work is completed, the nut will be loosened. The edge of the disc paper is extremely uneven. It needs to be turned by a lathe. At that time, the rear tooth disc has been formed. You can see that the thickness of the tooth disc is still varied. In order to make the fixed holes of each tooth disc consistent, the marking points of each hole are pressed out. It is very easy to drill holes with a bench drill. Drill through the set directly according to the marking points. Each tooth disc has exactly for fixed holes. Then use a drill to grind the hair on the edge of the hole. The surface of the scrapped steel plate is all show skills. For beauty, the surface needs to be polished. There is no scrap. What do you think of the master's skills?